Hey, yo, what is good, guys? Welcome back to another video. NextGen Wealth Tips here today. We got some news and going to be telling you guys my outlook on the market and some levels to look at. We got some bad news on Apple. We got some decent news on Nvidia and some other news overall on the market. We got Tesla down almost 4%, Apple down almost, or yeah, 4%, sorry. Nvidia down 2%. We got some stocks falling, but we also got some stocks going up like Broadcom, some health technology sectors, and some banking still up. Amazon down to like 1%, Google down 1%. But with that being said, let's talk about some news and we'll get into the rest. So basically, we got some stocks that are top daily gainers right now. We got Rumble, Next, Decade, some other ones up decent amount, some falling. We got a farmers or a therapeutic stock going down and some other ones. Most active stocks, we got one that I was talking about before, Rigetti. I got a video that I just dropped, the top five best quantum computing stocks to invest in today with this recent news we got with Microsoft and everything. They're moving up and they're moving up pretty fast. But with that being said, let's start off. We got a new deal going on with Riot Group and another company basically combining their businesses, which, if they are successful, will rank as the largest ever mining deal. And if everything works out, you can see these go up a lot. We got also Spirit Airlines. They recently went bankrupt basically, and now they're cutting 200 jobs to basically reduce cost and maybe build their company up, you know? We got some more news with the Chinese hackers, basically, or sponsored hackers. With that being said, I think like a month ago this started and it's still continuing. So we got some more news with that. Basically, just a secretary, their computer was basically hacked and some unclassified files was accessed. So this is still going on. So keep that in mind. Another thing is I mean, Nintendo's up like almost 3% today, but it said that the stock fell more than what 3 months before. So keep that on your mind. But they basically just came out with the Switch 2. If you guys haven't seen the video, basically it's bigger, better, maybe some more performance, but it's coming out, I think, April 2nd. If you guys are interested in Switch, but basically, I mean, we did have a big dip, but we're kind of going back up some more. But with that being said, keep that on your mind if you're invested in Nintendo. The stock doesn't look too bad, but we did have a big drop. Another thing is Apple shares are falling basically. They're basically losing the top spot in China. I think they're like top 3 now. But basically with their falling AI, there are other companies that are basically making AI breakthroughs as a selling point, and people are buying these ones more than Apple. So this will bring Apple down more. We're all down 4%. But with that being said, keep that on your mind because Apple just has been having back to back bad news. So it's been back to back dropping. So keep that on your mind. So, but this might make Apple kind of invest more into AI and put more AI into their phones because if they're falling behind because of AI, just imagine in other countries. So, yeah, so as you guys can see, Apple has been falling a decent amount. We were looking at some levels later on. We did break that 230 level. 230 was key. So we're going to be talking about this a little bit later, actually, in a couple of minutes, actually. But with that being said, let's look at the chart and kind of analyze everything that's going on. We're going to start off with Tesla because we kind of had a big red day in a lot of other stocks. We kind of had a fall or a big fall and then kind of rallied back. But as you guys can see, we bounced off that 410, which honestly looks good because we were below that and we were kind of maintaining below the 400 level. But now we're kind of this support right here is holding pretty strong. And then we kind of made 411 kind of act as another support. But with that being said, I think tomorrow, which is Friday, last trading day of the week. Fortunately, a lot of people sad about that. You know, we got to wait for Monday again. But with that being said, I think on Friday we're gonna see how it looks on the 411 and 410, and if we fall below that, we look at 405, and then that 400 level is key. And then going down even more, we can look at the 393 level, but maybe not. I don't think it will get that far down tomorrow unless we have bad news. But to the upside, I think tomorrow we might be able to, if you want like a buy target, I recommend looking for like a long play or an option play, for like a call. I'm gonna look at 410 first, and then it might bounce off to 410 and then go maybe to 407, 406, 405, and then make a bounce if we're positive for the day, and then make a bounce off that. You can play a call or just have a long play with it and see how it acts going back up past the 410. If we can break that 410, 411, 414, 415, and then maybe breaking that 420 level. That could be an easy play to make a decent amount of money. So just let the stock fall for a little bit and then just maintain these levels. And if it keeps falling, either be patient or you can play it on the downside. So keep that on your mind. That's an easy play that I noticed that worked. We also have Nvidia going down some more. We did bounce back, but then made some decent lower highs again. And we're kind of just bouncing on that 133 level. I think we can break that 133 tomorrow. Maybe going down 133, 132, 131 is a key level. 130 is another key level, and then 129. We might be able to see a bounce on one of these levels, but I recommend just seeing if they break it. If they don't make it bounce, you might be able to get into a call or long term play, maybe for over the weekend. I don't recommend holding it over the weekend, but if we could see some positive news with Nvidia, there's no reason not to. Honestly, I think we're still kind of in a bearish market, but we will, like, with good news, or some days we're going to see green days anyway. But I do recommend watching these levels to the downside and to the upside: 135, 136, and 137, and then maybe breaking that 139 to that 140 level. If we can break that 140, we can look overall bullish and maybe test the highs of 153. So keep that on your mind. SPY, we're kind of maintaining that 590, bounce off that 590 today. So 590 was a good support, but it just depends on how stocks really move. So I recommend looking at the key stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, everything that can really move the SPY overall. But we're going to be looking at that 590 level to the downside. And we can see if it bounces, because if it makes a bounce, we might be able to do like a long play, maybe get $1 or $2. That's a decent amount for SPY if you play some options. But that being said, you see how it reacts on that 590 once again. And then if it breaks below that, I'd be a little bit patient, 589, 588, maybe get into a call in. But to the upside, I think we can see it at 592, maybe 593, maybe 594, and then we can see a bounce downwards. You can play that little put, but I wouldn't hold a put overnight right now just to see how everything moves. It's like we said before, Apple has been pretty bearish, honestly, making lower highs like consistently. This is just on a 5 minute chart. 4 hour chart, you can probably see it a little bit better. But with that being said, with the bad news, we finally broke that 230 level. We've been kind of bouncing. We bounced off it over here, and then I don't think we hit it for a while. But we finally broke below that 430 level. And with this bad news, I mean, China's a pretty big country. They bring in a lot of revenue and a lot of people. But with that being said, I want to see this, see how it reacts on the 227, 226, 225, and then probably even bounce down below. I wouldn't even play any calls on this just because there's so much bad news on Apple. So maybe we might see a little bounce upwards, maybe bouncing to that 230, maybe bouncing off of it. So you might be able to wait until it hits that 230 and then play your little short there. But just keep on your mind that this stock is pretty bearish, and I don't see any good news coming out anytime soon. The other one I want to look at is a stock that I'm very interested in. I got a lot of shares in it, but it's been moving a pretty decent amount for like a stock at this price. We moved like, I think, $2. Our low is like 13.30, and then our high is like 14.8. So like we're moving like $1 up and down, and for a stock at like $14, that's a pretty decent price if you want to play some option plays or just buy shares. You can make a decent amount of money. Put like $1,000 into this, you can make a decent amount back with just shares. So keep this one on your radar if you really want to play it. You'll probably play it to the upside, maybe looking at some levels like 14.5, maybe looking at 14.8 again, and then playing a short. And then if I got into this play, and if I got into at the 1480 line, I'd probably sell my short at around 14 flat, where it kind of fluctuates like the middle of it, or maybe a little bit down, maybe 13.8. But I wouldn't stay in too long just because it can bounce back up. So just be very careful. Another stock that I was big into today, day trading wise, or I did an overnight play for this. I accidentally shorted it. I'm not even gonna lie, yesterday, but it kind of worked out. So we shorted it at around here. Wait, not wait. Sorry. We're gonna talk about MSTR later, but Bitcoin has been moving pretty decently. We have a big upward trend right now. We broke that 100K. But with that being said, I think we're in that territory of playing shorts for MSTR, which moves with Bitcoin. But with that being said, I'm going to see how Bitcoin moves with that 102. And if it breaks above that 102, we might see 103, 104. And then we might see a bounce downwards. Because if you can see, like, this was like a few hours where it maintained that 102. or close to that 102. And then previously we kind of just maintain it for like a couple, like maybe like a day max, and then we start seeing like a downward trend, as you can see, because a lot of people see that it doesn't really hold so strong, so it goes to the downward. So with that being said, MSTR moves the same exact way, and we're in a good level, good price level. I think maybe 370 to 380 you might be able to get a decent put in, but I recommend doing it for at least 2 weeks just so you have some time. But we kind of played it and we made a decent amount of money today with it. So I recommend getting into a put option right now. And then when we do go to some lows with Bitcoin once again, like if we can see 95 again, or maybe even lower than that, this stock is probably going to be trading in the low threes, and you can probably get into a decent call option for 2 weeks at least. Because we kind of seen that before, like around, where was it? It was a few days ago. Oh, this one right here, where we were all the way down to like 300 level, and then we went all the way up to like 345 or 350 like the next day. So make a decent amount of money if you play this right, but it is a lot of risk, high reward. But if you do it for like 2 weeks, you will see some green sooner or later. So yeah, so keep that in your mind. But yeah, guys, we're still pretty bearish, but we're bullish at the same time. We're kind of just fluctuating right now. We're not in a constant market. So just always adjust with how the market's moving and just watch levels right now. It's key to look at some levels and have a plan when you trade. Just like I said before, like I'm not gonna buy a put option right away, right, for MSTR tomorrow. Like if the market opens, I'm gonna wait until I see some decent levels, see how Bitcoin's moving, and if I see Bitcoin kind of bouncing off a certain level, I'm gonna see how this moves. So let's say if it's at 380 and it's kind of fluctuating with Bitcoin, and I don't see Bitcoin going up, and Bitcoin is kind of dropping a little bit, we might get into a put option then. But always have a plan. Like my plan tomorrow might be, honestly, I don't really like to say my plans too much because it can vary. But first off, I'm going to look at the 370 level, kind of wait for a little bit because it kind of moves. But the 370 level, and then if it goes past it, we might look at the 380 level. Just have some patience in it. Maybe trade like the whole day, honestly, and wait until I see like a good open opportunity, and then give me a little overnight trade for that. But that being said, just always have your patience and stuff like that, and keep that in mind when you're trading. But thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.